Hi everyone, Al DeMarco here, and this is going to be your Tuesday video report. Free picks, taking a push last night with Milwaukee, the play that I had against Charlotte. Strange game in that one, because when I released the play, the Bucks were getting anywhere from a point to a point and a half, but as the day progressed, suddenly it jumped from Milwaukee getting a point to Milwaukee laying a point, and then ultimately Milwaukee laying 1.5 at some books later in the day. So I think the only thing to do with everybody here on the site, in fact, any handicapper that gave either Charlotte or Milwaukee, is to simply call it a push, because you don't know when you bet it or where you bet it. So obviously push is the only way to go. Still 71, 55, and 4 run with the free picks, and a free selection and in-depth analysis coming up in just a moment on the Houston Rockets New Jersey Nets game, plus my thoughts on the NIT matchup between Alabama and Colorado. And FYI, hope you heeded my advice last night and word of warning to perhaps stay away from the Orlando Magic. It seems everybody was jumping on Orlando in that game, but you know what? As the day progressed, and then I read those quotes where Carmelo Anthony said it was literally a must-win game for the Knicks, it made the Knicks to play in that game. And plus, as I told you yesterday, the Magic were going to be shorthanded in that contest anyway. Before I get to your free pick here for today, I want to relate a little story to you. The handicappers on these sites are all in competition with each other to get sales, etc., to make their money, blah, blah, blah. They're all independent contractors. Most of them know each other. About 1/2 to 3/4 of them actually get along with each other, not like they're buddy-buddy, because again, they're all in competition. But the majority of them also have contracts that generally expire at the end of the month or at the end of the season. One of the guys that has been here at the longest at these sites, a couple of the sites that you happen to be watching this video on, is a guy by the name of Scott Delaney. Not a fancy guy, not a big, well-known handicapper in this business, but a guy who has been here for over 5.5 years. Over 6 years now. 6 years at these sites. And he's, done very well. But Scott had a miserable January and February. I mean, just a horrendous January and February. And for a guy whose long-term record had been among the best of all the handicappers at these sites, I mean, it was just so bizarre. So in talking with him a couple weeks ago, he was pretty much ready to throw in the towel. And I told him, I said, listen, your contract, yes, it does expire, but it doesn't expire at the end of March, because January, February, March, April, we always make contracts expire either at the end of the Super Bowl or at the end of March Madness. I said, look, stick it out. You're in a slump. Geez, don't I know about being in a slump. See what happens. So last Thursday, Delaney came out with a 100-dime play on Butler against Florida. Or excuse me, Butler against Wisconsin, and he won it. Then on Friday, he came with another 100-dime release. Virginia Commonwealth, outright over Florida State in overtime. So I guess now he's, feeling a little confident, feeling his oats. Saturday, another 100-dime release. Butler, outright over Florida. Sunday, another 100-dime release. I mean, this is getting crazy. Everybody was in North Carolina. I was on North Carolina. He had Kentucky. Guess who won? And then last night, another 100-dime play, this time in the CBI Championship, Game 1 of that series, and he had Creighton, as I did, another 100-dime play, another 100-dime winner, 5 in a row. Got a text from Scott a couple of hours before I did this video. He said that he probably was going to have another 100-dime release today. Didn't mention anything else to me. I'm assuming he's not going to be packing it in anytime soon either, come to think of it. I think he's definitely got his confidence back, shall we say. But you might want to check his site out. Like I said, I have no idea whether he is definitely coming with one, but could be going for number 6 in a row today. But in all the years of doing this, I have never seen anybody hit 5 plays of this magnitude, whether their top play was a 50-dime or a 200-dime or a 1,000-unit. I've never seen anybody hit 5 100-dime plays, or 5 max wager plays is a better way to put it, in a 5-day period, any sport, any time, since I took this business online probably 7, 8 years ago. I mean, it's truly a phenomenal run, and hopefully you've been along for the ride. Now, let's talk about the NITs tonight. Now, I've hit all 4 of my side selections in the NIT. Twice I've backed Alabama, but that was when Alabama was playing at home at Coleman Coliseum, where they're 19-0 straight up. I'll tell you what, I look at this game tonight between Alabama and Colorado, and it is a tough, tough game. That's why I'm not giving it to you as a free pick. I'm certainly not wagering on it because you've got a contrast in styles here. You've got an Alabama team that is 8th nationally in the country in defense in terms of scoring average allowed, giving up just 59.2 points a game. Of course, you've got a Colorado team that is 11th in the country in scoring, averaging 80 points a game. But the problem is neither one of these teams do well on the road. To wit, Alabama is on a 19-5 run, but the Tide has lost 4 of its last 6 games on the road, including neutral sites, and of course tonight's game at the Garden in New York City. Meanwhile, Colorado has lost 7 of its last 9 games on the road and at neutral court sites as well. So Alabama obviously has the defensive edge, but boy, I'll tell you, those Colorado guards, Higgins and Burks, they really can just shoot the lights out. Dangerous, dangerous game. And if Colorado gets out early in that game, Alabama doesn't have the type of offensive firepower to come back. So, difficult game. Just wanted to talk about it briefly. Instead, I'm going to focus for the free pick here on the game between the Houston Rockets and the New Jersey Nets. You know, I thought about taking the Rockets the other day, Sunday. I wish I had, in fact, instead of North Carolina against Kentucky. The Rockets were getting the job done for most of the game at Miami before falling in that contest at Miami, losing that game by 6 points, 125 to 119, but still they've won 5 of their last 6. That ended their 5-game winning streak. They are 12-4 since the All-Star break because their offense has been phenomenal. They've averaged 109.1 points in that 16-game stretch. They've covered 9 of their last 11 on the road. They've won 12 of their last 13 against the New Jersey Nets. So I say go ahead and lay the 6 points or so tonight with the Rockets, who still are on the outside looking in, chasing Memphis for that last final playoff seeding spot in the Western Conference. So I say go ahead, take the Houston Rockets in this one. Listen, New Jersey Nets, you know, they're in the throes of a 1-6 slide, and in that 7-game stretch, they have averaged just 89.7 points a game. Now consider that, again, their last 7 games, the last 5 of which Deron Williams has not played, and he's doubtful and supposed to miss again tonight, they've averaged 89 points a game, 88, let's call it. Let's round it off. By comparison, the Rockets have averaged 21 points more per game their last 16 games since the All-Star break. And they just beat the Nets handily at home back on February 26, 123 to 108. And in that game, Deron Williams had a big game, 15 points and 17 assists, and it didn't matter. And with him on the sideline tonight, it doesn't matter all the more. So go ahead, lay the points with the Rockets. That'll be your freebie. Good luck, everybody, and I'll catch you again on Wednesday.